Jap man Satanam. Bani has repeated this word twice, Jap man Satanam. So the question popped up. On one hand, we say our Japan wala mantra is Vaheguru. That has not been said at all. The Gurbani directly. And here word Satanam has been repeated twice in the same sentence. So what is our word? Is Satanam is our word? Or Vaheguru is our word? And this is what Maskeen and Sethi are both discussing. And Sethi is telling me that he has been trying to get to the bottom of this for a long time. And every answer he gets, it leaves a certain question in his mind. So what's going on? And then at other places there's a Guru jap meet hamare. Ojol hove darbare. Okay. Then another the other place is Waho ka bada tamara. So now according to Bhai Mahinder Singh, Waho is a half of this, so that's why it is repeated. So what is the what I wanted to share with you? Because if Gurbani was to say Jap Satnam, and a guy who's sitting in Madras, what would he do with it? He has no clue what Satnam is. Or what would the Christian do with it? Now, do you not believe that Gurbani is supposed to be universal? Yeah, of course it is universal. Then why would it say, tell me, why would it tell you to Jap Vaheguru? Why would it tell you Jap Guru? It is saying it's totally different than what you have. Because it is basically saying, Jap that word which is true to you. Now, true to you could be Allah. So that's your Satnam. Because Bani starts with Ekim Kar. What's the next one? Satnam. The one which is the truth. So whatever is truth to you is the word that reminds you of that ultimate creator, because the line starts, Ichha Purak Sarab Sukh Data Har Jaake Vas Hai Kam Dhena. It picks up a mediator. Example of a mediator. Jai Siya Ram is a mediator. Radhe Shyam is a mediator. Kalp Briksh is a mediator. Kam Dhena is a mediator. So it takes one example of that and says, you are focusing on the middle person. Why are you focusing on the middle person when you can go direct? So why don't you go direct? The one who is also the creator of, the controller of, the manager of those mediators. Because the truth is the only, that word that resonates at that level is the only thing that can connect you with that. Others will remind you of the mediator. Because when I say Jai Siya Ram, I immediately conjure up the image of a son of Dasaratha and a wife of that son. My projection never goes to the one who created both of them. So Gurbani says, go directly. Jap Manas Satnam. Not the word Satnam. And that's where we are caught. And that's why Gurbani nowhere directly says you should do this. To no one. And everybody's arguing, well, why not directly say this? Don't you see the point? It cannot. Otherwise, it will limit you. Then Gurbani becomes only for the Punjabis who understand the word Satnam and Vaheguru. It has to have the inner resonance. So, something resounds in you, resonates with you. Because when you visualize that word, is that word connecting you directly to the Supreme, or it is somewhere stopping you in the middle? If you think of Christ, is this reminding you of the Jesus of Nazareth? If that is, you are stuck with the middleman. So take the word that takes you directly there. Nowhere in the middle. No other image required. If you do not meditate or Naam Simran of that which takes you, if you say Guru Nanak, Tan Nanak, Tan Nanak, Tan Nanak, then you are stuck with the image of that mind body. So Gurbani displays the secret. If you want to do the Japana, choose the Naam, choose the word that takes you there directly. No middleman. The most fundamental mistake that everybody makes. They take a symbol and then start with the symbol. Eventually they become part of the symbol. Symbol becomes part of them. Now the arguments about the symbols and the fights about the symbols, so the ego, instead of going down, keeps on going up. I just gave you the definition. Does that word connect you directly to the Supreme or not? When you say that word, what other image comes into your mind? Is there any other image related with that? If there is, then that's not the right word for you. Well, yeah, all of those things. All of those things. See, you can start feeling good because you are saying the word of your lover, right? Now, because that makes you feel good, I love this person so much that I am staying in this memory and it feels good. But the point is, feeling good would not help the spirit to evolve. It would be a temporary anesthetics to your mind-body system. It will relax you, it will put you to sleep, and you may think that you have gone to heaven, and so be it. But that's an illusion. That's a dream state. It's not an awake state. Okay, now stop and look at those words that you just have said. You said God is a spirit. What to a Muslim who doesn't understand the word God? What would he do with this word? Okay. And what would a Hindu do with a creator who doesn't understand English? Now you are coming to that. Choosing, and the conversation started that you said I wanted to jot down the words. And I was trying to communicate with you that the words spoken normally are not that. They are communicating something else, and we get caught into the semantics of the words, losing the whole thing, which just happened to me the beginning of this week, and that's what I was relating to my friend here, because we both know that person. And this statement, this is a big question in Sikhism. Why isn't the Sikhs directly saying, do this, or don't do that? Why are they going about it? Yeah. They are not directly developed. So the answer is they are giving a principle to follow. They are giving the checkpoints to that litmus test so that message can be universal, not specific to the followers or the knower of a language or follower of a religion or a person of an area. But the message is universal, and it remains so. Similarly, the food, the drink, the clothes, the living, the speaking, how do I deal with the world? What language do I use? How do I say these things? So Gurbani gives you the litmus test. Not tell you exact what to say, it gives you the litmus test. So all of the answers are kept in that. Once you apply that universally, the problem becomes when you try to limit it, then you cannot explain it. And after 3 days, he called me and he said, we both were jumping up and down. Because it took us 3 days to get the essence of what you were saying. And for him, it was a lifelong riddle. Yeah. So he called me and said, we were both jumping up and down because, No, he was staying with somebody. Somebody was trying to ask him a question which he was dancing around, not coming out with a satisfactory response. This guy calls me on the phone. Yeah. So when eventually it was open to them, saying, look at it this way. Gurbani is not only for Sikhs. And it's not only locked into the Punjabi, it happens to be used in the Punjabi language. So when it says, Jap Man Satnam, it's not saying, start repeating the word Satnam. It is saying, find the word Naam, which is true to you. What is Sat to you? That word which takes you to the Satya, the truth, is your word. You should focus on that word, not on. And now you can see why the other words would then, because they remind you of the image. And I was giving the examples of, not to put anybody down, basically saying, when you say Radhe Shyam, what are the images that are conjured up? One is a Krishna. The other is a Radha. Radha is not even his legal wife. She is married to somebody else. She's a lover. And somebody, because their love was so, and why she became a lover? She's not a lover of Krishna. She's a lover of the Sangeet, the Murli, the music. She has her family. So what is your mind doing when it is processing those words? It has gone far, far away from the ultimate creator. Because the mediator has certain images. If you say Jesus, all the stories about his crucifixions and his getting up again and all of that, now your mind is processing that rather than actually going to the house of the Father where he wants to take all of us. So why you stuck on the Jesus? Why not to the Father where he really wants to go? Why just Siya Ram? Because Ram may be Avatara, Sita is not. Sita is just the wife. And the wife who was not even accepted by the husband. So Gurbani breaks this down for us. It says, no, don't get stuck on any word. The word that takes you directly to that without any other baggage associated with it is your Satanam. And that's the one you want to meditate on. That's what you want to repeat. So don't get trapped by the words, because words are indicating something. Shall we get started? Bhali Saree de Ubhree, Bhali Saree de Ubhree, हाँ मैं मुई घरा हूँ, हाँ मैं मुई घरा हूँ, दूत लगे फिर चाकरी, दूत लगे फिर चाकरी, सतगुर का वैसा हो, सतगुर का वैसा हो, कल्प त्यागी बाद है, सच्चा वे परवाह हो, मन रे सच मिले भाव जाए, मन रे सच मिले भाव जाए, भय भिन निर्भव क्यों थिए, भय बिन निर्भव क्यों थिए, गुरमुख शब्द समाए, भली सरी जे उभरी, भली सरी जे उभरी, हाँ मैं मुई घरा हो, केता आखण आखिए, केता आखण आखिए, आखण तोट ना होए, मंगण वाले केतड़े, मंगण वाले केतड़े, दाता को सोए, जिसके जिया प्राण है, जिसके जिया प्राण है, मन वसे सुख हो, Saree de Ubhree. Jag supna baji bani, खिन में खेल खिलाए, संजोगी मिल एक से वे जोगी उठ जाए, जोत सभाना सुथिए, जोत सभाना सुथिए, अवर न कर न जाए, भली सरी दे उभरी। गुरमुख वस्त वे साही है, सच वकर सच रास, जिन्नी सच वणंजिया, गुर पूरे सवास, नानक वस्त पहचान से, नानक वस्त पहचान से, सच सौदा जिस पास, भली सरी जे उभरी। खाओ में मुई खरा हो, दूत लगे वीर चाकरे, दूत लगे वीर चाकरे, सतगुर का वेसा हो, भली सरी दे उभरी। In our last sitting, we got a message that when we get together, whenever we get an opportunity to have a company of the others, we should learn to discuss and talk of that ultimate energy rather than talking of the individual self. आवो भैणे गल मिलो अंक सहेलड़िया, मिलके करो कहानियां समरथ कंत किया. That was our last hymn, which said, whenever you get together, because we are social people, so we really can't run away from the world and be by ourselves, because that's not the path advocated here. It is the path of how to live in the world, be in the world, yet be beyond it. How do you practice that? And one of the technique given is first to develop a nature, a habit, which is when you get together, talk about him, don't talk about anybody else. Why? Well, we got the answer of why. Because when you talk of somebody else, you will naturally drift towards the negative. Everyone has the negative and the positive. So even if you start the conversation with the positive, it will drift toward the negative. Doesn't matter whether you're talking of things, whether you're talking about people, places, doesn't matter what you're talking about. Somebody will bring in the negative. Hawaii is really great, gooder. You can start talking about the vacation, but it's getting crowded now. It's getting expensive now. Right? Something will pop up which will take you to the negative and the arguments. So Gurbani said that is one thing that you want to develop. Don't talk of anything else other than him. And then the question was, well, how can we keep on talking about him? How many things we can say about him? And Gurbani gave us a list. Ketya teriya kudarti. So we went all through that the topics, just as he is infinite, the topics about him are infinite too. It's just you to develop the capability, the nature, the mindset, to shift the paradigm that you would always want to bring the topic back. I remember once attending a party and everybody was having a drink. So, of course, wherever I am, normally they will nudge me to ask a question. I will slowly take the top subject in that direction. And one of the guys came up and said, would you please stop this? This is not a gurdwara. We're having a party. We want to enjoy a drink. I didn't stop you from enjoying a drink. As a matter of fact, this is the best place to talk. Why is that? Well, when Jesus was asked, why did you spend the night at the house of a prostitute? Do you know what he said? He said, where do you expect the doctor to go if not where the sick people? Do you expect the doctor to sit where everybody is healthy? What would he do there? The doctor really belongs where the people are sick. So, I am a healer of the souls. Her soul is sick, so I spend the night with her. What better place to discuss spirituality when we are completely immersed in the sense gratification? The taste, the touch, the feel, the looks, the dresses, the fashions, everything is in a party is on display, which is a complete enjoyment of the senses. So what better place to discuss spirituality? And you are impossible. I'm not going to come talk to you, so that's all right. Because few people will drift away, definitely. But you need to cultivate that. It won't come naturally. You have to make an effort. No matter under what circumstances you are, whenever you're together with someone, you develop the nature take eventually to it. Why? Because more you remember, more you discuss, more you talk, more you start falling in love and more you start getting close. That's why Kabir says, tu karta. Right? He was not talking of man, he was talking tu karta. And eventually what happened is a miracle happened. Tu karta. Repeating you. I became like you. Tu karta, tu bhaya. Why? Because the tongue can only say one thing. It cannot say you and me at the same time. So if it falls into the habit of saying you, me disappears. You forget how to say I. It's always you. And I is at the root of everything. So if you repeat more you and you, he or he, I starts going away from your consciousness. That's why Gurbani hammered that thought in our last sitting. So what happened? This is what happens. And now the new hymn comes in. If you develop, if you cultivate, if you focus on that, whenever you get together, wherever you are, the only topic left to you is hymn, this would be the test of that, which is Bhali, Saree, Ubhree, haume, mui, ghara ho. Ghara means from within, kar de vichon. The I will disappear. Bhali, Saree. It will automatically happen. It will be if you get into the norm of Bhali, Saree, changa hoya. Changa bhi ho gaya, chutkara hoya. Gurbani promises that. You will get rid of that I that bothers everyone. You got to focus on that. But that's the big if. Very big if. We get bored with very quickly. And we want excitement. This is not very exciting. I can't get up and dance with it. And Sufi came around and said, why can't you dance with that? What's wrong with you? You can dance. Natraj. Actually, there was a statue here somewhere in your home. That is actually a sign of meditation. Do you know why Vedanta used that as a sign of meditation? The dancing is one of the most potent techniques of meditation. Why? Because every other act is separate than you. Painter is separate than the painting. Song is definitely separate from the singer. But the dance cannot be separated from the dancer. Dance can never be separated. Dance and dancer and the dancing will remain together. So now use that technique. When you get into dancing, slowly the dancer should disappear and only dance should remain. The total awareness of I am dancing, or there is someone in me dancing, or my body dancing, all of that disappears. And what remains is just the dance. That's the ultimate samadhi. You are performing for nobody. You couldn't care less for anybody. Because you are not there. You are there and you are waiting for somebody's applause, then the I is still there. But that feeling is possible only through dance. That's one karma. That's why this was used. Sufis, whirling dervish, might have heard. They use that technique very, very potently. But the point is of that the statement is, when you are talking of him and that much immersed into him, the I is gone. And the first test of that would be, somebody will remind you, don't you want to go home? Oh, you mean to tell me an hour has gone by? The very first test of being absorbed in something, the concept of the time disappears. And what was the test Jesus told when he was asked, what does the house of your father looks like? What will happen there? You know what his response was? There shall be time no more. Gone beyond the time and space boundary. That's why we know that there is an outer clock and there is an inner clock. Outer and inner clock never match. They never match. If you don't believe me, go try to wait somebody on a bus stand or on an aeroplane and see how many times you look at your watch. You just looked at it and then, oh, only 5 minutes. I have to wait for an hour here. Try waiting for somebody. Why? Because when you are in pain, the inner clock slows down. When you are happy, the inner clock speeds up. But when you are there's neither happiness nor sadness. You go beyond the time. Time shall be no more. All these signatures all these signs are of what is happening. Gurbani says, Bhali, Saree, Je, Ubhree, Ubhr jana, kisi kal da upar aa jana. To rise above. And what happened to it? Haume mui ghara ho. The ego died from within, the one which was the root of the problem. And when that happens, now look with the beauty of this. Doot lage phir chakari sadgur ka vesa ho. He says, these very karmindriyas, these very gyanindriyas, these very senses became my slave. Chakar. They became my servants. Earlier, they were the boss and I was the servant. If the touch said, I feel this soft, so I went there. If the taste said this tastes good, I went there. If the eyes said I like this one, I followed that. If the ear said this music good, I ran after it. Now, I am directing them. This music is no good, shut up. This touch is no good, I don't want to have it. I am the boss now. Of all of my karmindriyas, all of my senses, which are living in this world, are now the slave. And when they become the slave, what happens? All hankering go away. When the hankering goes away, what happens? The greed drops. Where is the greed coming from? The root of the greed is the hankering after something. So, if there is no I, the one which is going to hanker, everything falls in place. So look at the beautiful formula. Gurbani started by giving us a formula. It says, I give you a simple technique. Whenever you get together, only talk of him. Stop saying me, stop saying I, start saying he, you. And only topics and subjects about him. If you do that, slowly, a miracle will happen. Your eye will drop. And when your eye drops, you are now the master of your senses. They are now doot lage phir chakri. They become your servant. Satgur ka vesa ho. This is not without the backing. This is those who have been there. They have supported this. This is not being said without any authority. This is not a fictional statement. They just do it. Or consult any one of those who have gone ahead of you. Discuss this. Find this from. It is an authentic statement. Because without those, if the senses are not in control, the life becomes basically, satpatana kehne, kalpana kehne. Either kyun kalp rahe hain? To hanker after something, to seek something, and when you don't get it, you get frustrated. That frustration is called kalpana. It says, kalpate agi baad hai sacha ve parvav. This is kalpana de vich hi, imagination de vich hi sara kuch chhad dena. Ye bekar. Meaning what? You find a lot of people, This guy has never ever eaten anything. This guy has never married anyone. So what the implication is that he has transcended sex because he has never married. Gurbani says, is that true? How do you know that by suppressing something from outside, kalpate aagi, kalpana, imagination de chhad dena kisi cheez nu, kande baad hai, useless, bekar hai. Why? Because it has not been put to test. If somebody says that you need to transcend your taste and you can say, I am going to go on a hunger strike for 30 days. Does it mean you have actually transcended your hunger? You may be able to suppress it. Right? And the reality is that now you'll be dreaming about the food all 30 days. The test of something which is suppressed is this. It takes a revenge. It comes and haunts you. That's why you have heard that parable that when somebody went to a Zen master and said, I want to learn to meditate, just show me. He said, of course, that's very easy. Oh yeah? Yeah, go sit on that hill and don't think of the monkeys. That was it. He went on the hill and he looked around and there are no monkeys. So now he's wondering, why did he ask me not to think of the monkeys? There's no monkey there. Oh, but there must be some reason he said, don't think of monkey. And guess what? All day kept on wondering, why did the master ask me not to think of the monkeys? The master basically said, don't think of the monkey. Monkey was not outside, monkey was inside. The mind. When you are sitting there, don't sit there with the mind. Don't let the thoughts come and bother you. Sit without the thoughts. The mind was the monkey, he made the monkey outside. When you do that, you waste the time. You waste the life. And Gurbani says, suppression in your imagination. You may be saying, this is such a holy saint. Why? But look at his dress. Look at his face. Look at his beard, his hair, his robe, his whatever. He can do these miracles. Particularly in the Christian world, this has become an absolute amazing. The people are minting money. Oh, the healers, the so-called evangelist healers. God, what a drama. Gurbani alerts that. He says, that is actually transcendence in your imagination. Because whatever you transcend, what does it do? Next line. Man re, sach mile bhav jaye. If you have truly discovered it, what will happen? You will absolutely become like one, like him. Bhav, dar. You know what's the fear? Fear is always with respect to somebody else, right? When there is somebody either stronger than you or more vicious than you, you can be afraid of someone. That means your I exists and the other's eyes exist. And that I is better than, stronger than, vicious than you. So you are afraid. But what if your I doesn't exist? What happens? Automatically drops. Look at how beautifully these words are woven. Man re, sach mile, bhav jaye. If you have truly transcended it, let's say that you are transcended, you are talking of the sexuality. Would you be afraid of meeting the opposite sex? If you have transcended it. But if you are afraid, I don't want to go there. Keep me away. Don't show me the face. Don't touch me. Don't come close to me. Because that's actually sign of a fear, not sign of a ये तो जी ब्रह्म ज्ञान ब्रह्मचारी हैं, ये तो औरत को देखते ही नहीं. लो, the one who is a brahmachari would have no problem one way or the other whether he or she is there or not, sitting next to you or not. How does it matter? Why? Because you have transcended. If you haven't transcended, then every little disturbance will shake your foundation, which is a waste of life. That's what kalp tyagi baad hai sacha ve parvah ho. The truth is completely fearless. Man re sach mile bhav jaye, bhav bin nirbhav kyon thiye, gurmukh shabd samaye. And without that, you cannot get closer to the one, nirbhav, the ultimate, because he is not afraid of anybody. Why? Why is he not afraid of anybody? Because there is no one like him to be afraid of. He's the one. If there was another like him, he will be afraid of somebody. You could say that. Which is the problem with the three largest religions of the world have this problem. Because they created the other. God and the devil. Now they can't solve this riddle. They created a problem for themselves by creating the other. Sikhism say, wait a minute, there is no other. Oh, so then who's that? The one who's negative. So that is his other face. It is him playing the other role. Why? Because he wants a drama. Leela, Maya. There is no devil in Sikhism. Both positive and negative are two faces of the same energy. So we don't have a dichotomy to solve. Because he's the one, he's not afraid. Nirabhav. And you can get to that only when you drop your eye also. See how it is a interwoven thing? How do I solve how am I drop my eye? Well, here is one of the techniques. Don't talk of the things. Don't talk of the people. Don't talk of anything else. Always talk about him. Always think of him. Discuss him. And slowly, your eye will start dropping. Here is the test that your eye is dropping. What is happening? You are transcending. You are not becoming slaves of these senses anymore. The hankerings are going away. Now, what is our first, when we have a feast, what is our normal tendency? And taste as many as you can. Isn't it? Some of us are saying, let me first taste it before I take it. We take a spoon and we walk by the dishes and sample it. A time will come when you will go to the dish that just you need and you just take that much and you go sit down there and you couldn't care less for the rest of it, right? And somebody might say, well, don't you want that? Well, I already know that. There's no need. It is the doubt. Well, look how many messages, how many examples from various masters come. If there is no doubt, that's why when devil, according to the parable in Christianity, devil comes to Jesus and say, well, you have already arrived. If you don't believe me, you can walk on water. You can jump from this and you will be saved. You don't believe me? Go jump. What was his response? Why should I jump? I trust. I have no doubt about my Father's love for me. I would jump only if I had the doubt and test him whether he is okay or not. I don't need to jump. I already know that. Why walk on water? I don't need to. I already know that. I have full faith in him. You check somebody when you don't believe somebody. So Gurbani says, you will become like him if you now accept that word. Which one? Gurmukh Shabad Samay. The word that is coming from the Guru's mouth. That word, you pick that. What was that word? Whatever your word. You take that word and become one with that word. With Samaja. Become one with the word. Tu karta, tu bhaya. Otherwise, if you get away from it and want to taste the varieties, and do different things. Well, today I'm going to say Allah, tomorrow I'm going to say Ram, and the day after I'm going to say Vaheguru, and then I'm going to say Satnam. You can try all of those. Or today I'm following the Buddhism, tomorrow I'll look into the Christianity, day after I'll look into Islam, and then I'll go into Sikhism. I want to find the best possible technique for me. Gurbani says, if you are the variety taster, what will happen to you? You say, Keta akhan akhiye akhan tot na hoye. So you're never going to run out of the option. If you start on that, if you want to discuss and say and find different things, you are never going to run out of it. One will lead to the other. And if you don't believe, Gurbani says, look at it. Mangan wale ketade. See, the whole of the universe is into that trap, forgetting the basic principle, which is Data Eko. If we had remembered that Data Eko Soe, we would not be creating that many gods and goddesses and symbols and the images and the statues and the pictures and all different kinds of things. If we knew, if we truly believe, but we don't. We say that most of the time. The reality is, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Sikhism, they all say they are all monotheistic religion. They all say there's one God, but they all have their own images. They are not willing to accept the other's image. There's only one. Why you arguing? Just take the image which I was already created. Now let me create mine. Oh, by the way, it is pointing out the same thing. Oh, is that right? What cross means to a Christian has nothing to do with a Jew. Even though we're talking about the same God. Same thing, whatever means to Islam has nothing to do with a Sikh. There is a slight nuance in every one of them. Why? It isn't the ego of the creator, it's the ego of the follower. How do I express I exist? Forgetting that is the basic problem to solve. My existence The I's existence is the problem, and we say, well, I need to tell somebody I am. Oh, is that right? Okay, so now I know you are. So now what? What I'm going to do with this information that you are? And what would you do with that information? Well, I give you a test. Go to a jungle and stand in front of a buffalo and tell the buffalo that you have done a PhD. And that's not what she says. Or stand in front of the tree and you say, I am president of a country. What does that do? That information is only meaningful when I am creating my I with respect to you and you are creating your I with respect to me. And I is the root of the whole thing. And we both are supporting each other's I. Aji, aap bade achhe hain. Nahi ji, aap achhe. Right? You scratch my back, I scratch your back. You are great. Oh yes, no, you are great. And Gurbani says, if we had only remembered what? Tata eko soe. There is only one that is worth saying you are great. Tata means the true giver, one who really knows how to give the charity. We like to give charity too, but please give me the receipt. I want a deduction. Thanks. And oh, by the way, I want to announce it. The temple. As a matter of fact, I would like my name inscribed on a stone and put it in front of the temple so that everybody who comes, they will see this person has given so much. Yeah? And I would call, I have given the charity. Gurbani says there's only one who knows how to give it. That if we remember that, we would not fall into those games. Jiske ji paran hai man vasya sukh hoye. The one who created the whole system, Jia, and the energy prana in it. So long as the focus, unless the focus comes on that, the rest is all a game. You want to continue this game? Good luck to you. Gurbani says, Jag supna baji bhani khin mein khel khilaye. So if you stay lost in that game, understand that it is going to end pretty soon. And you can ask any grown-up adult, and when they look back, oh my God, 30 years went by, I have no idea. I can't even think, I can't even imagine that I have been, I hear that all the time. I say it all the time, my God, I'm 60 years old. God Almighty. The time will pass, it will catch you totally unaware, and the game will end. It is bound to end. Jag supana. It's dream-like. Oh no, come on. Dream is only 70 minutes. Well, so what? Can't it be 70 years? It's only the length of time. Dream is a dream. Jag supana baji bani khin mein khel khilaye. Sanjogi mil ek se vijogi uth jaye. He willed it. He put you together here. He's going to will it. You're going to go back. There is no other alternative to this. Those are the truths. You are given this chance. Sanjogi. Sanjog means by chance milna, to be somewhere. Vijogi, by chance separate. Sanjogi mil ek se. Vijogi uth jaye. Jo tis bhana so thiye. Avar na karna jaye. Remember, whatever his will is will happen, otherwise it will. That's why the final moment, even, do you know that Jesus did not become a Christ even on the cross? Because he's still saying, oh my Father, why have thou forsaken me? That means Father and me are separate. And suddenly, awareness. And turns around and says, thy will be done. The moment thy will be done, that I drops, Jesus of Nazareth dies and Christ is born. That's why it is the second birth. That's what Gurbani is saying here. His will. Jyotish bhana sothiye. Whatever his will would be the only thing that would be done. You can cry all you want, you can pray all you want, you can say all you want. Nothing is going to be changed because you are crying or you are praying. Because when you are praying, you are saying, well, don't do what you're doing or do what I'm telling you. Ain't going to happen. Jyotish bhana sothiye avar na karna jaye. See, no exception. Nothing else will be done. So, if that secret is understood, then what should the human mind-body system do? Here is the answer. Gurumukh vast visaye sach vakhar sachara. This is the language of a businessman. If you want to do some investment which brings the right kind of profit, then think of that long-term investment, not then what is going to happen next year. Think of that long-term, which is only the truth, the ultimate truth, which is His name, His word. Do the investment in that. Gurumukh vast visahiye. Vast means the investment. Visahiye means to do the investment and then spend it. How? Sach vakhar sacharas. Jinni sach vananjaya gur pure sabas. Those who have followed this, they have been blessed by him and the master, the guru. Nanak vast pashansi sach sauda jispas. Understand only that entity, that soul can understand this and appreciate it, the one who is truly hungry and desirous of the truth. You are not, then you will be looking for something more exciting, which is, according to Guru Bani, then which is cool, which is not the truth. But if you continue on that path and you accept that and do this such, what will happen? Dhat phule pun dhat kau sifti sift samay lal gulal gahbara sacha rang chadao sach mile santokhiyan सच मिले संतोखियाँ हर जप एक भाई भाई रे भाई रे भाई संत सभा गुर पाइए मुक्त पदार्थ धेन ऊंचो थान सुहावना ऊपर महल मुरार सच करनी दे बाइए दर घर मैल प्यार गुरमुख मन समझाइए आत्म राम विचार त्रिभद कर्म कमाइए आस अंदेशा होए क्यों गुर बिन त्रिकटी छुट से सहज मिले सुख होए निज कर महल पछाणिए नदर करे मल धोए बिन गुर मैल ना उतरे बिन हर क्यों करवास एको शब्द विचारिए अवर त्यागयास नानक देख दिखाइए आऊं सद बल हारे जास भले सरे जे उबरे आओ में मोई घरा If you continue, then what will happen? Say, dhat mile phon dhat. Dhat means the metal. So Gurbani says, if you take the example, if you take the iron and heat it up, melt it, you take another iron piece and melt it, you merge them together, they'll become one. And nobody will know the difference. But if you take the iron and the copper, you might make an alloy, but it will not merge. It's separate. That is why if you want to merge with him, then you're going to have to become like him. You will have to develop all of the characteristics that are attributed to every one of them. No exception. Isn't that beautiful? How are you going to do that? See, he includes everything. He excludes nothing. He accepts everything. He rejects nothing. Isn't it? And how many, our whole life is dependent upon what to pick and what not to pick. We train ourselves, we train our children, we train all of our life. Oh, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. Oh, isn't that so? Who decides what is right, what's wrong? Who decides which is good, which is bad? If all is his creation, I might say, I am not there yet where I can deal with it. That's my shortcoming. No, I don't say. I say, no, this is bad. When I said this is bad, have I not already told the Creator that you made a mistake here? No matter what it is. And it is so difficult to absorb that. For a mystic, for a spiritualist, for a person who wants to evolve spiritually, this is the most difficult concept to absorb. Most difficult one. Well, what do you mean I should go and now embrace those guys who bombed the hell out of me? He's my enemy. How do I go embrace him? Well, you need to think about it. Think about it. Do you want to exclude it or want to include it? Do you want to become like him or not? It's your choice. Do you want to rise above the base nature of human or not? Do you want to rise above the animalistic urges or not? Your choice. There is nothing to do with the right or wrong. It is to do with the choice. And you can say, I'm not ready to make that choice yet. At least you are honest and say, I am not ready. I have not grown strong enough. I have not evolved enough that I can actually include this one also within my boundary. So I need to sit at this boundary and meditate till I can break through that. At least you will be honest and responsible for where you are at. But 99% of them say, well, he's not capable of, he's below me. He's the devil, I am the holy one. So why would I mix with him? You will become the judge and the jury and the executioner at the same time. That's the biggest stumbling block I can tell you today. The desire and the urge to discriminate and pick and choose with the judgment associated with it. But don't take the words literally and run away and say, well, you're trying to tell me that I should tomorrow go and jump in the lake and become filthy and dirty and that should be okay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can say, you can get to a stage where say, I am not there yet where when I see a filthy person, I can turn my face toward him rather than I'm not there yet. But the person who's filthy is also part of him. The person who's clean is also part of. And you will find somebody walking in there while you are hesitating even to get closer to the filthy, somebody go and pick him up and bring him to the, put it under the water and wash him and clean him and put the new clothes and feed him and say, go. Not sit in judgment, but if you didn't like it, you will do something about it. Not reject it. Not judgment it. Not judge it. But do something about it. Include it. The Creator is inclusive. Creator isn't exclusive. And that's why Gurbani is saying, if you stay on that path, you will get closer to him. How? Dhat mile phon dhat se. Your characteristic, your metal will start becoming like him. Sift samay. By being immersed in his glorification, you will immerse in him. Now, watch the language. You are not glorifying him. Humans have no capability or capacity to glorify God. How can the puny thing glorify the great thing? Look at how arrogant we are. Glory be to the God, as if his glory is dependent on my saying it. Do you know, in the language, in Islam, you cannot say the name of Allah or Muhammad without saying, peace be with him. Because I'm wishing peace on him. I'm glorifying him. That's the height of arrogance of a human. God is glorified by God and godliness and the creation. God cannot be glorified by a human. God will be glorified the day you become God. That's the only time. Why? Because then you are no more. The one who was going to glorify dies, merges, surrenders. That is the ultimate statement of glorification. Sifti samai. Not merging and standing outside and singing the praises has done nothing to it. Singing the songs of glorification has actually divided the mankind rather than bringing it together. Done exactly the opposite of the consciousness. That's why a Christian, a Jew, and a Muslim will stand in front of the same wall, kiss from the opposite side, and then kill each other. That's what has happened to the human consciousness. And they all sing at the highest possible, the biggest organ they can build, bigger orchestra and choreographies, and Gurbani is alerting us, what are you doing? Childish play. How can the finite glorify the infinite? Infinite is glorified because of its infinity, not because of you. So what should your effort be? Sifti samai. Make the effort to become like him. Observe his characteristics and then see if you can bring those characteristics in you. And all you need is, if you start on the path, you just need one. The rest will automatically follow. It's the first step that's the most difficult. And I'm telling you, the most difficult step is to be a Sikh and to be able to have the same feelings for a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Hitler, a Genghis Khan, a Buddha, all being the same. And if there was a Jew sitting right here, I will be crucified. How dare you include him? He's responsible for killing 6 million people, burning them alive. What's the matter with you? That's very true. I'm saying you can make that choice. You absolutely can make that choice. And you can stay tied down to this world, to this dimension. Your choice. But if you want to get freedom from this dimension, you will have to include Hitler while you are including Buddha. Jesus and the Genghis Khan will have to sit together in your belief system. If they cannot coexist, you will not go anywhere. Why? Because you are not like him. Water can only merge into the water. Oil and water will never merge. They can be next to each other. That's about it. And Gurbani hammers that thought. Dhat mile phun dhat syon sifti sift samaye lal gulal gahbara sacha rang chodhao. The lal, the red color here is used as something that is becoming beautiful. And it's comparing with the red rose, gulal. As the red rose is opening and spreading the fragrance. Have you ever watched a red rose? What happens if nobody is there to take its fragrance? Does he close the petals and say, what to do? Nobody's here to enjoy it, so why spread it? And does it say, well, no, I was nourished by Divanji, and why should I be giving the fragrance to you? He did nothing for me. He's the one who watered me, and he was the one in it. I am sitting in his land. Does the flower worries about it? Who comes, who doesn't come? Who gets, who doesn't get? Blooming. Why? Because it's full of fragrance. It's overflowing with that energy. It doesn't care if anybody shared it or not. It is sharing with the entire creation. Fragrance is just going out without any reference to who took advantage of it and who did not. That is the sign of actually getting closer to him. Why? Sacha rang chadhao. Now the true red color is coming on to your consciousness. Sach mile santokhiya har jap eko bhai. And understand that if you stay on that path, the contentment will become part of your nature. Santokh. Sach mile santokhiya. Once the truth comes, contentment is there. Once the contentment is there, the truth is there. It's not something, it's not something like that, okay, if this happens, then this happens. It's a very difficult concept to communicate. There is a beautiful parable that the dark knight went to God and complained and said, you need to talk to moon. So what did he do? Well, wherever I am, he comes in and destroys me. He follows me everywhere. I'm not bothering him. I just want to stay dark. And he comes around and puts the light on and everything is gone. It destroys me. So, oh my God, that's something is seriously wrong. Why is bothering you? So God calls him and says, we have a complaint about you. What's the complaint? You bothering the darkness. I have never seen darkness. Would you bring him to me and so that I can at least face my accuser? Darkness doesn't go away because moon comes, or moon doesn't come because the darkness is there. They are simultaneous. They are one action. So Gurbani says, when the ego dies, all these things happen simultaneously. It's not a sequential event. It is a simultaneous event. The absence of ego is the presence of everything else. The contentment would come. How come? Well, the one who was discontent is gone. The one who was complaining is gone. The one who was discriminating is gone. So when the ego is not there, everything is good. It is only the ego which says, this is not right, this is good, this is bad, that should be this way, this should be that way. When the ego is not there, everything is fine. So Gurbani says, Bhai re, Sant jana ki rain, Sant sabha gur paye, mukt padarat dhen. O seeker, understand this. All those who are called Sant Jan, they are within themselves. If you ask them, are you a Sant? What do you think a Sant is going to respond? Because the I doesn't exist. Rain means dust. Do you know that's what Islam was actually meant to be? Islam used the earth element as a meditative technique. That's why they bend. 5 times a day, and each time you have to bend 5 times. Touch the earth. Means what? Reminding yourself, become like dust. Become egoless. Get to the ground. Get to the zero level. Totally misunderstood, went to opposite way. There are people who are spending their entire life in the name of God and hating the rest of the world, isn't it? This new evolution of terrorism is what? What's its foundation? Hatred of the other. Hatred of the other, whatever that other is. That's it. The whole life is dedicated to that one thought. I am a Muslim, you are a non-Muslim, hence I'm going to kill you. End of discussion. Why? Because you don't follow Quran. Well, what does Quran say? Well, it says, kill the infidel. That is the whole. And look the power of the lie. That they can take a 13-year-old boy and tie the explosive around him and send him. That belief system. How much damage the religious wrong teacher can do to the consciousness. That's why Buddha said, the biggest sin on this earth, biggest sin, is to misguide somebody in the, because every other sin may damage one life. This can damage multitude. Inexcusable. That's why Kabir warned. Kabir said, Kabira, auran ko upadeste mukh mein par hai ret. Go try to teach others. It's like eating the sand. Ras berani rakhte khaya ghar ka khet. He says, you're worried about the others. You're worried about the others. You ignore your own. It's the most difficult job to do, yet it is being done around the globe such a terrible way that instead of putting on the path to the ultimate creator, they are putting on the path of destruction. And Gurbani says, watch, bhai re, sant jana ki rain, unless the way those who went ahead of you, they became like dust. Unless you become like that, you won't succeed. Sant sabha gur paye mukt pudarat dhen. You have to follow that process which those saints followed. And they will actually, and what would they tell you? They will only tell you the salvation. They will not say, become my disciple. Any master who says, follow me, has already misguided you. Has already misguided you. Any master who wants your, he will give you the touchstones. Okay, here are some of the test points. Find your own destiny. Take your own way. Here is how you check while you are going. And if you find something which is more difficult, esoteric, which you cannot decide, come back to the master and say, well, I checked and this is the conclusion I reached. He may point out to you, say, no, that's not how to look at it. Look at it this way. Then move on. Unless until you find that level of honesty, you haven't found the right guide. You haven't found the right master. Sant jana ki rain, sant sabha gur paye mukt padarat dhen. ऊंचो थान सहावना ऊपर महल मुरार सच करनी दे पाइये दरगर महल प्यार गुरुमुख मन समझाइए आत्मराम विचार. Those energies will only point you to the one. Which one? ऊंचो थान सुहावना, highest of high. ऊपर महल मुरार. That's where the ultimate. Now, don't get again trapped by the words. Ucho doesn't mean height. It is a way of saying that is the highest of state of existence that's possible, available to the human mind body system, which is closer to that state which the creator is. And that is possible how? Sach karani de paiye. Get closer to the ultimate truth. True action, true thinking, true behavior. Get to that. Dhargar mahal pyar, and develop the true love within, darghar, in your own self, in your own body. It is within you, not from outside. It has nothing to do with the outside. And be very careful that word, the relationship, because relationship again is the other. Relationship is within. You are becoming your friend. You say, well, am I not my friend right now? Well, let me ask you. When you are alone, do you stay that way or do you pick up the phone and call somebody? Why do you need somebody else as a friend? You are your own friend. Why can't you be with yourself? Just ask that question. Why can't I be with myself here without anybody else? Because I really am not my friend. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be my friend. I want somebody else to be my friend. Without worrying, if I can't be my own friend, why would anybody else be? And so what happens? We end up finding pseudo friends. They are also not our friends. They just pretend. Just as I am pretending, they also pretend. The whole of the life become a game, drama, a role, an acting. The Gurbani says, Sach karni de paiye, darghar mahal pyar, gurumukh man samjhaiye, Atam Ram Bichar. Every time the mind diverts somewhere, he says, bring it back. How? Get the thought of the him. He goes thinking about, I need to buy a new dress. Think of him. Two things will happen. You'll think of him and save money. The closet won't be full of the things that you're never going to use. Sure, that's okay. No, those who do not want to disappear, they will be there. There will always be both types of people on this earth. Do you know that Jesus' last dinner was what? Lamb and wine? What happened? The 12 ran away. They sat and had the highest lesson, the highest promise. The last dinner, last supper. Wine has nothing to do with it. Inside. Are you the servant of the senses or the senses servant of you? In the first, doodh lage phir chakari. Are they your chakar or you are the chakar? That's the key. So Gurbani says, Gurumukh man samjhaiye. If the mind wanders away, bring him back. How? Atmaram bichar. Inside, bring that thought back. Tribhed karma kamaye as andesa hoye. Tribhed. Most of the world lives in that three dimensions. Tribhed. Three dimensions. Sato, Rajo, and Tamo. Three. Meaning what? Either focus on the self, or focus on the immediate, family and the neighborhood, or focus on maybe the whole world for that matter. Yet, it is of this dimension. So those you think who are the biggest server of the servants of the humanity, they still tie to this dimension. So Gurbani says, Trebhed karma kamaye as andesha hoye. If you stay within that three games of the three dimensions, you will keep on developing different type of desire. Because you can't get away. The only dimension you play in where the desires are controlled is the fourth one. So get to that one. All other, well, today I'm only worried about myself. Tomorrow, okay, I improve and I start sharing it with my neighbors. And I think, oh my God, now I should become the leader of the neighborhood, right? They should send me to the Congress. And then I start get out of my state. Now they should be making me the president. And then I start worrying about my own country. I should be the representative for the whole world. And then when I'm ready with the world, I should be now president of the universe. On and on and on. As andesa hoye. Any karma, any action that is done within these three dimensions will get you tied down with asha, the desires. No exception to the rule. doesn't mean how holy it appears to be. Well, that's the story of that somebody fell into the water, a well, and another person came to drink the water. And this guy is in the well and said, would you please take me out? I said, well, how did you fall? I'll tell you, take me out. He said, well, wait a minute. I'll take you out, but tell me. I said, well, you can see that in this well, there is no stones and it's all mud and it was slippery, so I slipped. Oh, you were absolutely right. I did notice there is really no stone barrier around here. I must first do that. So wait a minute, take me. I said, no, I don't want to waste even a minute. I'm going to gather all of the village, everybody. I'm going to collect the money and I'm going to make sure there is a stone here because I want to save many, not just you. The guy just calling and he runs away. He says, that's very urgent matter. If I stay here, I'm wasting time. In the meantime, another person comes. He's wearing yellow robes and so it looks like a seeker of some spirituality. And he goes to, and this guy said, would you please take me out? I said, no, I can't do that. Why not? He says, my guru told me that every karma has a action and a reaction. So if I take you out, I'm adding to my karma. And here I am trying to exhaust all the karmas I already have. So I don't want to add more karma. Hey, it will be a good karma. I don't know that. If I take you out and you go murder somebody, then what? I'm sorry, I can't take you out. What kind of a seeker are you? Well, he goes away too. The third guy comes around and he has the bucket with a rope with him and he throws the bucket in the water and this guy says, please take me out before you take the water out. He says, of course. Come on. So he brings him out. You are the only God-fearing person. I have actually seen a bhikshu go by and he wouldn't take me. There was a socialist who was trying to revolutionize the whole village. You are the true person. So wait a minute. What are you talking about? I'm a Christian. I have been told that when you save somebody, you go to the heaven. So I get up every morning, take the water, the bucket and the rope, and I check every well so that if there's somebody I can take out. And if there's nobody fallen down, how will I go to heaven? I didn't do it for you. I was told to save somebody, so I keep looking for somebody who has already fallen in. It appears to be so. But the motivations are very mysterious. So Gurbani says, look for that one whose motivation is not to follow me, but be with him. Tribid karma kamaye aas andesa hoye kyun gurbin trikuti chutsi. Trikuti means cutie, wrinkles on the face. That means worry. The worry about the life cannot disappear, cannot go away till you get to the stage of poise through meditation, sahaj, till you get to the sahaj avastha. Nijkar mahal pashaniye nadar kare mal dhoye. His grace, if you are on that path, His grace will help you to transcend the bondage of the senses. Bin gur mail na utare, bin har kyun karwas, eko shabd vichariye avrate aage aas, nanak dekh dikhaiye haun sad balhare jas. Is without the true guidance, without the true word, it is not possible to transcend the play of this karma, and those who are blessed, they have attached themselves to with what? Ek shabd bichariye. One word. Who's that word? Back to the same key where we started from. One word that belongs to him. That is the ek shabd. Eko shabd vichariye avarate aage aas. Forget everything else. Any other focus, any other visualizations, any other drama will be entertaining, enjoyable, will sound good, but would not get you to the goal where you are aspiring to. Nanak dekh dikhaiye haun sad balhare jas. Says there are very few, very rare entities who have actually done that or gone it that way. May we get the energy, the desire, and the motivation to be one of those rare who have actually gone there. With that, I want to thank you for coming tonight. We have today done the 12th hymn So 2 weeks from now, 13. If there is anything that I said which touched your soul, consider it as a message from the beyond, not mine. I'm not the conductor of it. I'm not the giver of it. It's just coming to you. Take that with you. And if anything hurt you, offended you, that's a sign of my arrogance, my ignorance, my ego. The scientific or technical term linguistically absolutely helps.